Couple things about money that I think I'm very curious about. There's obviously how much total you made, I'm curious about.
Yeah, I crested $1 million.
A year or?
No, just total.
Okay, so that's total. So you hit $1 million. That means you have $1 million cash, or that means you're spending as you're making?
That included the re-up. But the re-up was only, re-up wasn't more than like $150,000.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm getting the ticket, I'm getting it for the low.
Yeah.
So I'm really only have to bring the Mexicans 100,000. If I'm buying 50 joints, it's 2 a pop, more or less.
Yeah.
Right? In the summertime, it's gonna be a little higher when supply is lower. But, you know, so yeah, a lot of that is just fucking cash.
So you're sitting on $1 million at one point. What is your get out number in your head?
Yes.
Dude, it started out with $100,000.
Yeah. And then it just keeps.
I'm like, God, 250.
I feel that shit about stand-up.
Oh, facts, bro.
You're like, fuck.
Facts, bro.
Yeah, the more you make, the more.
Yeah. But your overhead is way lower than in this shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, I mean, there's no taxes. People are working for me for peanuts. This is during the recession. So I got nice college-educated white dudes, women even, making that drive down there for me, muling my shit back for like $100 a joint. But to them, it's like, $5 grand just to do this? This is big money, you know? Like, I'm gonna do that. I'm hurting. So, but it's just insane. So 100,000 was like my get out number. Then it went up to 250, and I was like, yo, I looked at the forecast, and I was like, okay, we're gonna be at $1 million in no time. Let's just do that, right? But then I had this opportunity to go into business down in Colombia. I mean, I had a lot of business opportunities, but the get out plan was gonna be this real estate deal I was gonna do in Colombia. So and that was gonna cost me about 400 or 500 grand. So I'm like, I gotta make that back. Like, I'm gonna invest that, but I wanna get that.
You wanna be 1.5, so you can do that deal and still
I wanna
have
be $1 million liquid plus whatever I have in assets. You know what I mean?
Fuck,
and that was
so close.
And you were, I remember you saying you were like a few months away or something from being out.
Okay, so where are you hiding the money? You're not just keeping $1 million cash in one place.
You know, I had shit in my parents' attic, had it in the garden, safe deposit boxes. Digging, bro. Digging. I'm Mexican now. I am the Mexican now, you know?
So you're digging, you're putting it in the garden.
Yeah.
You have some at your folks' place.
Yeah.
Your folks savvy to it a little bit, or?
Not to this level. Now, they knew throughout the years, I'd be home from college, and my mom would be like, hey, I was cleaning your room, and I found like $50,000 in cash in your backpack, so you're gonna have to, you can't stay here. We know you're back dealing drugs, you know. But we'll still pay for college. Okay. You can't stay here for the summertime.
Not white parents. Because it ain't even about you, it's about them. They don't want their kid to not go to college.
Of course, of course. And the embarrassment too. Like that's the worst part. Like,
yes, he sells drugs, but he got a bachelor's. Wow, man.
So anyway, so I would stash it.
That is nuts, bro.
It is true though. That is
my mom found a little something in the crib and almost disowned me. Like that was crazy.
Well, also though, like, and this is no knock on like the black community or any like lower class communities. It almost makes drug dealing a little easier though.
What the fuck?
Hear me out.
You know how I know he's been to jail? Because he's so comfortable with casual racism. That's like, to be from Portland and then be like, yeah, the blacks are like this in prison.
I worked down from casual. I started out.
Yeah, this is professional racism. Right?
No, but I'm saying if you're from a family of entrenched drug dealers, I'm not saying, say you're from Harlem and your uncle's been locked up and your fucking grandfather was locked up.
This is the family business.
And you get locked up, it's horrible. It doesn't make the pain any less, but it's just a little more normalized. So like the embarrassment that a family that's not used to incarceration feels, it's enough for me to never do it again. I swear to God, just the shame on the family, right? And dude, and like W.E.B. Du Bois talked about that. He's like, that's or his counterpart, whatever the other dude was. That's what he said. He was like, that embarrassment, that expectation that white people have is kind of what keeps them in school on the straight and narrow. You know what I mean?
I was talking to a guy that got locked up. He did like 10 years for selling drugs in Boston. He said when he got locked up, when he first walked into the prison, it was as if it was like college orientation and you were like a sophomore and you saw a freshman from your school come in. They were all like, dude, we were waiting for you.
Everybody knows everybody. Everybody.
And it was just like the guys on their block. And he was like, oh yeah, welcome to the crew. Like this is where we sit, this is where we eat. We're waiting for you to show up.
They got a seat for you.
Yeah, literally. They were like, we knew you were gonna be here.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I mean by that.
My parents were
No, but
embarrassed I did this. You know what I mean? Like, the expectation is a real
cultural
thing.
expectation is huge, man.
No,
Exactly.
I get
It's
that.
huge.
Because
It's
even
huge.
with the Sweden thing happened, even though I really didn't do something bad to get in that situation, the biggest thing I felt was guilt that I disappointed my mom. That's the biggest thing I felt.
Exactly.
Yeah, that she did something wrong in raising you, and you
Yeah,
know that
like,
she
I'm like-
busted her ass to like give you all the opportunities. Yeah, that's
because
a
I'm gonna be
fucking.
fine. You fellas.
I was the man in there though. I was a cool American. So
You were their black friend.
yeah.
So the money's held in your parents, like that.
I got safe deposit boxes everywhere.
Okay.
Connected to banks. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
'cause
Obviously
it's still
not.
connected to your name.
Like an LLC.
Yeah. I
What's the best way to flip it? Like, you obviously see the Breaking Bad shit where they're, like, do you think about starting a business?
Well,
Is there any-
listen. I was very young.
This is
I was 22, 23 when this all started to pop off. So I was just started, and that's really what began like my financial literacy was because I would buy like Rich Dad Poor Dad, How to Invest. I was reading Warren Buffett,
Dave Ramsey.
counting my drug money while I was reading, fucking Mark Cuban's books, right?
Yeah.
And I should have started flipping it from the beginning. Yeah. From my first 50,000,
And
I should
how
have
would
started.
you flip it?
Dude,
How do you make it clean?
Can you talk about the gifts?
I would go buy, and I do a whole episode on this, episode 5, how to launder your money.
Yeah.
Okay, they're monetizing it still on YouTube. Crazy.
Yeah.
So I would start buying sneakers.
Okay.
If I had 50 grand just to move, I would pay some kids to go stand down at that Supreme store, right? And buy 50 grand worth of sneakers, and then we just go put those shits online and sell them. Even if you take a loss, 10 grand loss, you sell them for a little less.
You just cleaned your money
You
for
just cleaned your
10%
money
off.
up for 10%, bro. It's less than taxes.
Explain to people what it usually costs to clean money. Because you can get it professionally laundered, but what are they taking?
Yeah.
They're taking like a third, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like Scarface is like, they were talking about like 30%, right?
Yeah.
Let me do 3 points on your money or whatever. But I actually have no idea. That's the highest level. And even there, like, that's a way to get yourself caught. Because you got a guy putting, millions of dollars into a shell company. It's all traceable still.
Right.
But when you take cash and buy...
Oh, he's going to get clipped.
Of course.
And he's going to talk about your ass.
That's the first person they go after.
Because the financial crimes are easier to I guess, there's more evidence, there's more proof of these
There's
transactions.
always a paper trail.
Yeah.
But if I'm...
Because we want it, low-key, because we want to make sure that we know where our fucking money is.
Of course.
Yeah, that's the only thing that you can't relinquish any trust, or like any responsibility. It's like, I need to know exactly where the bank account is. I
Every
need to know
penny.
where and because of that, there's no separation, there's no barrier.
Dude, I talked to Roger Reeves. He was Pablo Escobar's #1 cocaine pilot, him and Barry Seal. I had him on my podcast. He had like 50 million in Cayman Island bank accounts, and they went and they took all of it in one fell swoop.
Way.
I'm like, that's not gonna be me. That's not gonna be me. I'd rather make $5 million and just launder it over 10 years, 40, 50 grand at a time.
Yeah.
Because if I'm the IRS, I could conceivably come to you, Andrew, and be like, where did you get the money to buy 100 pairs of sneakers?
Yeah.
But you just get lost. There's no way. It's just too much.
If you're paying your taxes, though.
Exactly. You pay them off right away. So you have bills of sales. The only thing you don't have is bills of purchases, right?
Bills of sales
So
are
when
for
you-
the sneakers, right? You don't have proof of making the money.
Yes, exactly.
And will
But
they look at that kind of shit, or?
not at a low enough level.
You just
Again,
hope they
$50,000,
overlook it.
$100,000. I don't think so. When you ping it around enough, and then you immediately take that 40 grand and you put it into some real estate.
Yeah.
Right.
You're just making it inconvenient to track down.
Of course. Make it as hard for them as
And
possible.
I feel like if they're getting their pound of flesh, why would they even look into you?
Correct.
Right? I'm
They're
almost like,
getting
if I'm the
their
IRS, I'm like, you're paying at your 33%
Exactly.
or 40%. Like,
Exactly. It's like you tell on yourself first.
yeah, it's like, yo, you got your, I'm paying
Here,
you.
I'm paying you. I'm coming to you. I'm not waiting for you to come to me.
Yeah, why do you
I'm
care
coming
where I
to you
got the money?
immediately.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He also
One
said
of
there's a
the
thing.
dopest things I learned from watching your shit and whatever, the GIF situation.
That's what I was just saying, the
So
gifts.
Yeah.
You
Explain
can,
this?
you can
Yeah.
give a GIF up to what, 16?
15?
Yeah,
15
and I didn't know this. I actually did not
Oh,
know
that's the
this.
Shawshank shit.
What's that?
The scene in Shawshank. You
Yeah.
can gift your wife up to 10 grand. Remember,
So-
he tells the CO that.
Yeah.
He tells.
That's
You
right.
think your wife would cheat on
He
you?
tells the CO that you could gift your wife up to. Yeah, he goes, "Do you love your wife?" And the CO's about to beat the
Trust
shit
your
out
wife.
of him.
Dangling him over the building.
Yeah,
They're about
that's
to
when he
kill him.
starts doing all the taxes.
That's right.
Okay, so break down
That's
the
right.
gift
So
thing.
now it's up to like What did I say on the episode?
15 or 16.
$16,000. I had to research that because I did not know that back then. Somebody, if I'm your mom, I can give you $16,000. Don't have to declare it on my end.
Yeah.
And it's tax-free on your end.
Yeah.
So, and actually I did that a few times, like, because I did have an LLC open. I would just give my boys $5,000 each. Here, let's fly to Vegas. Just don't burn it all on the chips, and then give me the receipts, and we go cash out. And then we go put that back.
Sorry, don't burn it all in the chips.
Yeah, here's $5,000 in chips.
Yeah.
You know, lose 2,500 of it,
and then we'll go.
And then and then give me the bill of sale.
So
on a low level,
you can have 10 friends give you a gift every year.
Exactly.
And it's 160,000 you just laundered.
Exactly.
As opposed to, hey, I'll cut you a check for 16,000. You gift me 16,000. And now my money is laundered.
You're allowed to receive infinite gifts.
Yeah,
correct.
Tax-free.
Correct.
There's no limit. There's no one per year.
So you have to basically give them money so that they can give you the gift.
Correct.
Now,
Now, if you're tied into if you have a big federal RICO indictment, they're going to come. They're going to come lean on those people, right? But you know, I give advice to like middle class. I'm making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
Drug dealers.
Yeah.
That's the way you do it. Is you get the fuck out of the game.
Yeah.
You know?
Is there a game now with like weed being legal, pharmaceuticals being so dope?
Yeah.
I almost feel like all drugs are getting squeezed out. Like I mean that for real. Like
yeah, it's sad.
It's sad.
It's sad.
Yeah. There was a good back in my day.
The middle class drug dealers are just getting crushed.
It was so easy, bro. It was back in the day. It was coke, heroin, and weed. It was CBS. NBC, ABC. Those were simpler times. Now it's like goofy shit.
Yeah.
It's goofy shit.
But it's goofy shit, but it's almost like more safe. It's like you could get a similar high from your parents' fucking, medicine cabinet, right? Without the risk of having something illegal on you. The weed you're just getting from the store.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, being a drug dealer now.
Nah, but the drug dealers they're into the pills too. They're like,
so they're basically getting the pills and then flipping the pills to people. Got you.
Yeah, and I guess drug dealers are selling perks and
perks,
Valium.
What do you get for that?
Molly.
Like, what do you get for?
I don't know. It was never my game. I never liked small change. I never liked small change items.
I've heard that like weed has actually become more popular for like small drug dealers now that it's been legalized.
Actually, that's true.
Wait, why is that?
Because the taxes. 80% or 75% of the marijuana market in California is still illegal. Still in the black market.
So that makes sense because if you decriminalize it, now I don't have any risk in buying it from a drug dealer.
Yeah.
And if I'm a drug dealer, I don't have any risk in selling it because it's decriminalized. And if it's that much cheaper, these dumb motherfuckers tax weed into more drug dealers again.
Yeah. Exactly. And
These fucking idiots.
More people are smoking weed on top of that. So like, if I'm a kid that's like, oh, I don't want to risk smoking weed, but now I'm like, oh, I love weed now that it's legal.
Yeah.
It's better for the consumer. It's worse for the dealer because everybody's dealing now too. So
so there's crazy competition.
Back in my day, I took that risk knowingly because nobody else wanted to take it, more or less. And that's where that fee came in, you know?
Yeah.
Now everybody's selling it. The only way to really get rich as an American drug dealer is to have huge grows. Huge, and then sell it wholesale to a bunch of dispensaries.
So the jail was a big barrier to entry that allowed you to make money. Because most people are not risking jail.
Guys like me, there's no more. There's no more just middlemen, pure middlemen, never touch the scale. I go take the bricks and just give them to the next guy.
Right.
Right? Because now if I'm a drug wholesaler, a dealer in Philly, New York, I could just go straight to California and make a deal with the grower himself, right? But back in the day, those were secret connections.
Oh, because now that the growers are public.
Exactly, you can Google them.
You can call them.
You call them. They're all on Snapchat and Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, shit, because they have no cost. Or there's no risk for them to be public.
Bro, they take down these huge grows out in the desert, like Palm Springs area, greenhouses with tens of thousands of plants. They'll raid it like it's a drug raid. Nobody will go to jail. Just write them a ticket. Here you go.
Wow. Are you able to like suss out when someone's playing with drug money? Like,
what do you mean?
Like if you had gotten out clean, you would have had this real estate business. You would have been chilling on like a mill, and everyone would have been like, "Wow, this guy's just like good at business or something." Or if his parents gave him money, whatever, they would have thought something about you. But if I meet someone that has like a small business and they're like making a bunch of money and I don't really get it, I never assume drugs. I always assume like inheritance or their geniuses or Bitcoin or some shit. Are you able to like figure out like, oh no, this person's playing with drug money?
Well, if they're white, I always assume it's an inheritance. You know what I mean?
Of course,
like
exactly.
Financially responsible. You know? No, I don't even know. I don't think like that, right? Like, if somebody's good at legal business, it doesn't matter how they got their drug money because they would have been good at this shit regardless. You know?
That's interesting.
Yeah, wait. Do you really believe that?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, if
I hear people say that, but I don't buy it.
You don't think JayZ would be JayZ if he didn't sell drugs?
He totally would.
Wait. What was the question, just so I can understand?
You don't think JayZ would be JayZ right now if he never sold drugs?
I think JayZ happened to be a really good businessman that also sold drugs. I think there are a lot of people who sell drugs. I think it's a much easier thing to be profitable on because there's much less competition, right?
JayZ needed the drug game to give him something to talk.
Like,
JayZ needed the drug game.
You open a pizza shop, it's like 75 fucking pizza shops in New York. If you're selling cocaine, it's like not that many people are gonna take that risk.
Sure. So when you have something simple like a pizzeria, like, of course, having a bunch of drug money helps you expand right away, right?
Right.
But you probably could have done that regardless. It would have just taken you longer. You know what I mean?
I feel like selling drugs would be helpful for international export-import businesses, even if they're legit. Because it's about building those relationships and making sure that there's enough of a moat around those relationships where you can get that product, be it legal or illegal. It could be fucking olive oil. But being able to connect that person with this person over here, like what you're doing, right? Building enough connections in fucking a developing country. You can see a country kind of changing around. You go, oh, I need to tap into certain industries. I feel like drug dealers would be really good at that. But once it's open market, I don't know if I could say specifically that they could apply the same business practices to, like, you really want to compete with Bezos? Like, there's no way. You know what I mean? These guys are savages.
Yeah. Well, drug dealing built a lot of America. Definitely go to Medellin. I mean, it looks like fucking Beverly Hills. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
Miami too.
Miami, Culiacan, Mexico, dude.
Yeah.
There's no homeless people. I mean, Los Angeles absolutely looks worse than Culiacan, Mexico.
Really?
Where the only legal industry is tomatoes. And they're farmers. You know what I mean? That's how they learned how to grow weed good back in the day. So, but that money absolutely pays for public work shit, you know, all different kinds of things.
Wow.
But, you know, to your point, like, I don't know. I think good business people would be that way regardless. Just drugs gave them a boost.
Let me put it this way. I think it's very possible that there are people that are good at business and happen to fall into drug dealing. And I think that's also possible that there are people who aren't that good at business, but since they're dealing drugs, they're having more success
They're good at that.
than they would in traditional business. I think that JayZ is a specific type who's like, yeah, whatever he was gonna do, he was gonna be really good
And
at
also, JayZ didn't take his drug money and start Rockefeller. That was Biggs Burke.
That was Don. Who is it?
Biggs,
yeah.
who ended up getting locked up. So it wasn't even his drug money. It was just his selling drugs that gave him
a little
something
bit
to talk about.
Yeah.
You know?